Fear Not, Episode 87. Hi, I'm Billy Atwell, and I believe that consistently facing your fears is the only way to realize your truest self and to make those confident choices that will help you to obtain your deepest held hopes and dreams. I have faith that this podcast series will show you that you are not alone, that it will strengthen you and give you courage to face your fears, and that it will help you to permanently cross over into a life of living beyond your fears. Join me on this journey as we listen and learn from others as they share their experiences in facing and overcoming their own fears. The legendary Patty Palmer spent over 3 decades developing the Palmer Plush tissue fitting method. This technique allows you to create clothes that fit your body rather than rigidly adhering to the pattern's contours. Palmer Plush fitting workshops and online courses are designed for both the beginner and advanced sewist and provides a polished piece that looks custom-made. For more information on the available Palmer Plush fitting workshops and online courses, visit palmerplush.com. palmerplush.com. Hello, everybody. Today, you and I are going to be joined by London Angel Winters. Hello, London. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Are you ready to fear not today?
I am.
London is an author and coach teaching a body of work called the Yoga of Intimacy. A former fitness coach turned practitioner of the sacred feminine arts, London has a unique understanding of the body as it relates to sacred partnership. Through her online video courses and private coaching, she works with women all over the world, teaching the art of fearless love. London, can you take a few moments to fill in the gaps and maybe also give us a brief glimpse of your personal life?
Sure. So my background is I was kicking ass in a career. I was an Emmy Award-winning producer. I had achieved financial freedom. I was the executive producer of a travel network. I basically went out there and did anything I wanted to do. I was a champion figure competitor, and I was really not feeling the love. You know, I was able to achieve anything in life I wanted as far as accomplishments, but my love life was pretty dim. And I ended up discovering this yoga that I'm now teaching, and everything dramatically changed. And I was able to call in a sacred partnership that I've been in for more than 8 years. And I'm just so utterly grateful I was able to find deep love and passion and exciting, thrilling intimacy in this lifetime, because it wasn't happening for me. And then when I learned what I was doing in my body to shut it down, I was able to change it. And today, I would say my life is a lot juicier.
All right, sounds good. Would you also share with us today, London, one of the biggest fears that you've had to face?
Yeah, actually, it's coupled with my work. Is one of the biggest fears I had, and was so intense for me, was showing anger of any kind. And I had a dad who would not be cool with it, and I loved my dad. And so whenever I showed like anything unpleasant as a child, he would basically leave the house. But the tricky part was we were really close. So I basically learned to be as shut down to negative emotions as you could get. And my biggest fear in life, I mean, I was a skydiver, I've done all sorts of things, but yet I couldn't show anger. It's like really intense for me.
So how did you resolve that? I mean, how did you overcome that? How did you overcome that?
Yeah. Well, when I found this yoga, I learned that the darker emotions like anger and frustration and any kind of upset, if you can't let those flow freely, you can't let the good emotions flow freely either. And so that was a revelation to me. And when I was invited in one of these workshops that I attended with one of my favorite teachers, David Data. And I had seen all of these women in a practice, you know, finding incredible pleasure in their bodies and just connecting to their partners in these powerful ways. And I raised my hand and I was like, David, how come I can't feel any of that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm numb. What the hell? And he was like, stand up here. And he pulled one of his assistants who does this martial arts training. And he said, I want you to unleash all of your anger on him. And I was so afraid of doing it. I'm in a workshop. I don't even know this guy that I'm standing in front of. I still couldn't do it. And so I sort of went like, ugh. And David looked at me and he goes, if you're just going to pretend, then we're done. But if you want to really do this, you have one more chance. And there was something so piercing about that and so challenging, you know. I just overcame my fear of being rejected, of being abandoned, truly. And I unleashed on this guy. And what's so cool is he didn't go anywhere. He stood right there and like gave me so much love. And then I unleashed more, and then I unleashed more. And I literally found the pathways to express all the way. And right after I let the last bit of rage out, tears just started pouring down. And he was still with me. And from that day on, I have been able to feel my body in a way that I was never able to when I was keeping a lid on everything that I thought wasn't lovable. And so literally, that was such a powerful moment for me. I became dedicated to finding the art of full expression as a woman. And that was over a decade ago. And I pretty much dedicated my life to it. And it's a big part of what I teach.
Just out of curiosity, how do you handle your anger now?
How I handle my anger is there's a couple of ways that make it. So I'm talking about anger in intimacy, right? I'm talking about like my man makes me so angry. And instead of just pretending like I'm cool or punishing him like, you know, babe, is something wrong? No, I'm fine, you know, or being abusive to him, what I learned how to do was flow my feelings out with an open heart and an open body. So there's a huge difference between giving your man anger in a way where you're like, screw you, I hate you, and I'm giving up on you, or you're letting me down, or blame, 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 and closure and nastiness, as opposed to feeling the authentic hurt or anger or whatever that is moving through you, opening your heart and turning to him and giving it to him as a way of inviting him to help you. So what you learn how to do is not blame him, but let him see how he's affecting you. And it's a beautiful practice for the man too, because what the men in this whole practice learn is that energy is energy and it's all good. And we know this because Latina ladies for all of time have been giving men their storm and men love it, right? But when you aren't restricted in the flow and when you can keep your heart and your body open and when you offer it as just a huge gift to him and then he receives that as a like wake up call to maybe some behavior that was off, it is so beautiful and it almost always leads to passionate lovemaking. So instead of a fight shutting you down and he slams the door and goes away for, 3 days to like simmer off or whatever, my partner and I have a dynamic where if things get heated, I show up, I give him my full expression without blame. And usually I let him see, usually anger for about 30 seconds and then there's hurt and tears. And I keep my heart open and I stay available. And then he's able to feel something that I need. And then we end up just in a beautiful either embrace or love making moment. And it's utterly, utterly transformed our relationship. It's so cool. We've been together for so many years and it still feels like brand new fresh because we don't let things, I call it another brick in the vagina wall. Like I don't stuff anything. So there's not just like these constant bricks building up in my body that make me unavailable to deep loving.
You sound like you've had quite an amazing journey. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's been crazy.
yeah. So I'm also going to assume that you've come across some pretty amazing resources that have helped you to get to this point and to handle, your fears in, I'm going to say, a very mature way. Could you possibly share some of those with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that my teacher, David Data, who wrote a book called The Way of the Superior Man and teaches the sexual yoga, he's been by far the best reason. I mean, he was a game changer for me because prior to meeting him, I was trying to be enlightened. I was trying to always be reasonable and never look like I didn't have it together. And all of that was killing my feminine spirit. And David really showed me what it was to become full and yet do it as an offering of love and not as an offering of closure. So I would recommend his book, Dear Lover, to women, and his book, Way of the Superior Man, to men. So Way of the Superior Man is kind of like what the man needs to do to encourage his woman into this place and really love her when she's there. And Dear Lover gives you a picture of just how unbelievably erotic your life can become if you can be in your full wild expression.
Are you ready for the speed run?
I think so.
Okay.
I'll try.
What individual, whether they be fiction or real, has made the most impact on your life?
By far my partner, Justin Patrick Pierce. He has loved me through everything, and I've never experienced unconditional love, and the being blown open to God in lovemaking the way I have with him. He's just made the biggest difference for me. I am so grateful that we met.
And if you could instantly change one thing in the world, what would you change?
I would give women permission to let pleasure and the juiciness of existence be their guide. If men achieve enlightenment through no mind, I would want women to achieve enlightenment through pleasure.
What's your biggest weakness?
My biggest weakness is probably loving pleasure so much that I never stay on track with my fitness goals as much as I wish I would.
What's your biggest strength?
My biggest strength is fearless loving, just absolutely living every day as if I always just approach life like I only had one more month left. How would I do it? And I would say that's my biggest asset and has served me really well.
And if you could only have one book to read, what book would that be?
One book to read. I would read Google for the rest of my life.
Do you have a favorite sound?
Oh man, yes. I like in my personal practice, I like to just find something in my body that feels good and say yes, yes, yes. So my favorite sound is the embodied sound of yes.
And London, if someone would like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Probably through my website, which is londonangelwinters.com. londonangelwinters.com pretty much has everything you need to find out what I'm up to and how you can get involved.
And what parting advice would you like to leave with us today?
I think my parting advice would be that if you've given up on love, love is absolutely possible. No matter how much you've been hurt, you can attract sacred partnership into your life. If I was able to do it, anyone can do it. And I even created an online video course called Attracting Your Beloved. And it teaches you how to either date or be in relationships such that you resonate that relationship into sacred partnership. So it's good even if you're already with a man and it doesn't feel that deep, or if you're looking for a man and you want to live this life of sacred partnership, it teaches you everything you need to know how to do that. And I created a discount for your listeners. If you go to my website and you click the online course and you go to register for it, enter Fear Not, and you can get 25% off.
That sounds great, and that's really generous of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love it. I hope every woman on the planet gets to live in sacred partnership.
Well, London, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your story and some of your knowledge, and for offering such a wonderful gift for our listeners today.
My pleasure. Thank you for the great questions.
Thank you for joining me today. And remember, you cannot achieve everything, but you do have the God-given ability to achieve anything. So stay focused, out of fear, and keep on keeping on. Until next time, be well and peaceful. For more information on today's episode and guest, or for resources that will assist you in overcoming your fears, visit livingbeyondyourfears.com. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, where 3 times a week we move to a life beyond our fears.